What's good, Wizards fans? This is your host, the Real Ed Oliver, my guy Brandon Scott, and the Washington Wizards trade Rui for a bag of chips. I mean, they trade Rui for Kendrick Nunn and 3 second-round picks. Let's talk about it.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
I want to thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/Locked On today to get started. All right, so if you guys haven't heard, the Washington Wizards traded Rui Hachimura to the Lakers for Kendrick Nunn and 3 first-round picks. So the first-round picks, one is in 2023. It's Chicago's second-round pick. The next one is in 2028, 5 years from now, and they get the less favorable pick out of the second-round pick, and then they get another second-round pick in 2029. That one is 6 years ago. All right, so Brandon, what are your thoughts about the trade, and what do you feel about the value that the Wizards got back in return?
All right, let me start by trying to look at this trade from multiple views, all right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you look at Rui, we know what he can do. You know, he can score. He's a 3-level scorer. You know, there's a lot of debate whether he is a 3-level scorer. I believe he is, but he's a high-level scorer. What can he not do? Well, you know, his defense has always been an issue. You know, you have had injury issues. Looking at his contract, going into restricted free agency, you know, there was kind of a push to make a move, especially with the reports that he didn't want to stay long term. So. Did they have to trade him to a certain degree? Yes. You know, especially if they're intent on keeping Kyle Kuzma here long term, trying to re-sign him in an offseason. I think there's a few things to kind of look at with this deal, man. One, you got to ask yourself, do we kind of overvalue our guys? Now, if you look at the fact that the Suns didn't want him for Jay Crowder, you know, do we is this a case of us overvaluing Rui? I believe that, you know, if you look at Rui, man, he was a top scoring option on the bench. So he had value. You know, he could pretty much score when he used that scoring spark off the bench. But the only way this trade makes sense is if we're going into a rebuild. You know, 3 second-round picks. Okay, cool. I mean, really, 2 of them are in 2028, 2029. So the guys in that class are in middle school. So, you know, it's not immediate really impact except for the 2023 one. But here's my issue with that. You know, Tommy Shepard can't draft first rounds. So are we really banking on the fact that he's going to find a diamond in the rough with these second rounders? I mean, there's really, when you said that we traded from a bag of chips, absolutely. I mean, 3 second rounders, but none of them are really going to provide any immediate impact. You know what I'm saying? I guess from another perspective, if you look at it from the view that we're competing, you just traded away our top scoring option on the bench. So if you're trying to compete, you just made it harder because you just lost your top scoring option on the bench. Dude just dropped 30 points, and the next day you sent him to Los Angeles. So I mean, who do you look at? You know, Barton. We know what Barton can and can't do, right? You know, Denny, is he going to be that guy on the bench? Look, Denny's not even Denny's top scoring option. I mean, let's be real. I mean, it's just I think that it's an abysmal trash trade, man. We got nothing for him. You know, hate him or love him, you know, he was a pivotal part of this bench. You know, without Rui, you know, even though we're 2026, you don't win 20 games without Rui. Not with that production off the bench. You know, that's how pivotal he was. If you look at the 2 most pivotal players on this team outside of the solid 3, DeLon Wright and Rui Hachimura, easy. Because when they were off the team, or were injured rather, it was a clearly different team. You know, when they came back, you saw an immediate change in this team. And when it comes to defense, leadership, effort, you know, it's an abysmal trade, man. You know, getting on Tommy. Okay, now I guess he admits that he missed on another first-round pick because it's pretty much what he's doing. He's admitting that he missed on Rui. You know, because you pretty much trade him for, again, a bag of chips. I mean, it's not even a hot half smoke. I don't even know what he traded him for, man. A pack of gum. I mean, it's just abysmal. You know, if you look, you know, we touched on the 3 second-round picks again. You know, if you're going to rebuild, all right, it's better than nothing. You know, you got some picks, but You're banking on the fact that he can do the GM part of this whole trade. Really evaluate second round picks. Have we seen a second round pick play for the Wizards? Where is Yannick Yosa right now? Where's he at? I mean, can we get an APB on him, man? Where's he at?
Where's Yusuf Sanan?
I mean, we don't even value second round picks as it is. So yeah, the team's worse, man. The team's worse. And from the perspective of Kyle Kuzma and KP, with this team being worse, are they going to want to stay? They hold all the cards in their hand, right? Kuzma makes that choice if he stays or not. Same thing with KP. Do you stay? We're not going to be a very good team because we don't have that option. We don't have the scoring option on the bench. Now, if we go into the deadline and we find a scorer on the bench and maybe go, but again, where do you even go from here, man? It's a frustrating trade because on one hand, I do feel like we're kind of overvaluing our guys, our young guys, whether it's Denny, Rui, Kispert or Johnny. Well, really, Johnny has no value at this point. But in the same token, what did you really get back? Kendrick Nunn is not going to play except for garbage time. So it's very frustrating. To me, this is a D- trade. I mean, the only reason I don't give him an F is because we get a second rounder for this upcoming draft. But even then, you're looking at a range between the 31st and the 47th pick. So again, man, it's a trash trade, and I don't have much to really say about it, man. I don't see really what we got back, man.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the trade either. I thought it was very underwhelming. Even Sam Amico Hoops, he quoted him. He said the Wizards could have got a better trade from this, and that's basically what he said. I'm paraphrasing what he said, but he's saying why are they doing this? They could have got a better trade. I'm trying to find the tweet here. Basically, yeah, he says a rival scout to Hoopswire. Why do you rush to make that trade if you're the Wizards? I know for a fact they can do better than what the Lakers are offering for Rui Hachimura. The Lakers wanted to get rid of Kendrick Nunn so fast. They're probably thanking us for that deal. They're probably sending a Christmas card and a thank you letter to Tommy Shepard for taking Kendrick Nunn off of their hands because they didn't want any parts. Kendrick Nunn didn't even play the whole year last year. And I know Rui has his problems with missing games, but Kendrick Nunn barely played. Kendrick Nunn, I don't see him putting a Wizards jersey on. I think they're going to move him for something else. If I had to bet, if he does play, it's fine. I mean, he's not a terrible player. He can score, he can get buckets, but he's very inconsistent, averaging 6 points a game. It just didn't work out with the Lakers at all. So he's a solid player. He's not terrible, but the Wizards certainly could have did better. There were other teams that wanted his services. We heard the Bucks this morning. They probably could have offered a little bit more than what we got. The Mavericks were interested. They possibly could have offered a little bit more than what we got. So it's very disappointing. I mean, you look at the numbers too with Rui in the lineup. They were 3-13 when Rui was out this year, and the bench was 27th in the NBA in points per game. After his return, they were 8-6 when he was playing, and they were 12th in points per game. This year, they're 17-13 when Rui plays. So they have 17 wins and 13 losses when Rui plays. Now, Rui, I know he's a flawed player, but he can get buckets. He scores 30 points in a game, and then you trade him. He scored 26 in a game, you trade him. He scored a 30 a couple nights ago when the trade rumors came out first for Jay Crowder. And then Jay Crowder, actually, he put out a cryptic tweet as well. So maybe Tommy may be using those 3 second-round picks to make a move for Jay Crowder. But, yes, the direction is certainly up in the air. We don't know where this team is trying to go. Could they be tanking? Could they still be just trying to go for the play-in, which I think they're still just trying to go for the play-in. And also Jake Fisher reported that they want to keep Kyle Kuzma. So we knew this was going to happen. They want to keep this solid 3. They really believe this is a big 3 when it's really just a solid 3. And then, again, you have Kristaps who's out week to week. So who knows when he's going to be back. Now Bradley Beal's going to have to play more minutes. And we don't know if his hamstrings are even reliable for him to play more than 30 minutes a game right now. We really just don't know because every time he comes back, next thing you know, he pulls a hammy. So, it's a more of an uphill battle if they really want to make the play-in. You don't have much trade value with guys. It's a disappointing trade, man. And it just shows you now another first-round pick in Tommy Shepard's tenure that just didn't work out. And I'm going to include Ernie Grunfeld's tenure as well because Tommy was here while Ernie was here, and Tommy is a disciple of Ernie. He's an understudy of Ernie. He was in the front office under Ernie. So he really is Ernie Grunfeld Jr. He's no different. He really is. He's no different. And the drafting, honestly, it really might be – I'm not going to say it's worse than Ernie's, but it's starting to get to that level. You know, you see what the value is for your first-round picks. If that's what you get for Rui, then I'm scared to see what you get for Denny next year. If Denny doesn't work out, I'm scared to see what you get for Corey. And I'm certainly scared to see what you get for Johnny Davis in return. If he, of course, like you said, he has no value at all. Very disappointing. The return was disappointing. But I get the business move. Now the Wizards, they're still really close to luxury tax. But we were talking about this before, and this is from another a guy, Yossi Goslin. I think he works with like Spyrack or something like that. But now he says the Wizards also gained much needed breathing room from the tax going from $346,482 to 1.4. Whoop-de-doo, $1.4 million before the luxury tax. This is what this trade does. And this is what Ted Leonsis is. This is what he cares about. He just wants to have the best roster that he thinks he can possibly get and keep it below the luxury tax some way how. Even if it's pennies on a dollar, as long as he doesn't hit that luxury tax, that's all that matters to Ted Leonsis at this point is Tommy Shepard. So they won today. They feel like they won. They feel like they had a heck of a day, but this team definitely did not improve unless they have another move up their sleeve. That's the only way this can be better. You get second-round picks there in 2028 and 2029, guys that we're not going to see in the next 5 to 6 years. So, yeah, I mean, Rui and Rui's going to be good on the Lakers. LeBron's going to make him better. He gets to play with Russ again, who he played really well with Russ back 2 years ago when we made the playoffs. And Rui had another 20-10 game in that Sixers game, the only game that we won in the playoffs against the Sixers. And look at Thomas Bryant. He's playing better with the Lakers. Look at Troy Brown. He's playing productive with the Lakers. So you can call it the Los Angeles Wizards at this point. But Rui's going to be darn good with the Lakers coming off the bench, the sixth man. So I'm happy for him. This is the best situation for him. He didn't want to be here. I feel like there was a disconnect with him and Wes. Wes didn't start him at all. Everybody else started this game this year. Anthony Gill started. Todd Gibson started. Everybody on the roster, I think, started. Even Jordan Goodwin started a couple games. Everybody but Rui. And I think that shows you kind of what Wes thought about Rui. Say what you want about his defense, but there's a lot of games that Rui was huge for this team. So, I mean, it when I saw the trade, I was very disappointed. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was very disappointed. And the first round picks from Tommy and Ernie the last 5 years, it's just automatically that we know they're going to be traded before they get to their contract extension or the end of their contract.
Yeah, but you know what bothers me too, man, is why does Ted Leonsis continue to get a mulligan in DC? I mean, what has the Wizards done under his tenure? What have they done? You're happy with a playoff exit in the first round and playing? I mean, maybe there's some people that are happy being in AC. Maybe there are people that are happy with playing. I'm not. I think that is a loser mentality, man. I mean, what are we talking about? I mean, every team in the league, day one, the whole point of playing is to win a championship. Like, we're cool with AC. Like, who's cool with that? That's such a small market mentality, man. We wonder why people don't want to come here. I mean, this is the second year in a row that you've had guys on the way out trashing the organization. You know, Spencer Dinwiddie had a lot to say. Even though Bertans got free money, he really can't say too much. But I mean, this is the second year in a row that you've got guys who are on the way out are trashing his organization. And ironically enough, this is the second year under Wes Unseld Jr. What are we doing? I mean, it's abysmal. This is a dysfunctional franchise, man. How you have no vision at all. You're going to get rid of your top scoring option to clear up. And I get the business side of it, man. I definitely get the business side of it, but you're hoping that these guys stay. Like we're I don't even know what to say to that. Like you're pinching all of this on the possibility that these guys might stay. Why would they stay now? We're not going to be a better team. I mean, we were kind of getting to a group, man, with everybody coming back, and with everybody had their job, everybody had their their place on his team. Rui was that top scoring option. Bill knew what his job was. KP knew what his job was. Kuz, everybody was kind of settling into the roles, man. And then we turn around and we flip our best scoring option off the bench. So who do we go to on the bench? Denny? Have fun with that, man. Most of the league wants him to shoot a three-pointer. I mean, let's be real. People sit there and watch him shoot. So if you're relying on Denny Avia to be that scoring punch off the bench, you're going to be waiting for a while, man. Are we waiting on Will Barton? I mean, he is so inconsistent, it's ridiculous. What other option do we have off the bench? The DeLon, I'm not going to put that scoring that much on his shoulders, man, because, I mean, you're not going to – if you get 15 to 20 from DeLon, that's a really good night, man, because he's defense and orchestrating the offense for second unit. It's just I don't understand what their vision is, man. It's very frustrating because we continue to be in purgatory. This franchise stays in purgatory. We make these crazy trades, man, like – it makes no sense to me. What is the so? Yeah, I don't understand, man. I think the biggest issue I have is the lack of vision, man. Yeah, this was a big win for Ted Leonsis and Tommy Shepard because they're happy being mediocre. They're happy, squeaking into the playoffs. While you have franchises who are out there trying to win championships. That should be the option, man. In life, look, will any of us be millionaires? Probably not, but look, that's the goal. You want to be the best, man. You want to drive for the top, man. I don't understand this whole mind frame where, oh no, I'm good with us being a plan. What? No. You try to win it all. I don't understand, man. This front office is so abysmal, and a part of me just wants them to go ahead and just shoot themselves in the foot. That's the only way we can get rid of some of these cats, man. Because a part of me wants that to happen. Because the only way we can get rid of Tommy, the only way we can get rid of Wes is for them to go ahead and just skyrocket down the standings, man. Because to me, like I said earlier, man, I'm going to go ahead and end it there, man. But, rebuilding the picks somewhat makes sense. But then you have a GM who shows he can't draft worth the hell. So, and then if you want to compete, you just made your team worse. So that's where I'm at, man. This was a D- F trade. We didn't benefit off of this at all. And the Lakers, they got a good basketball player. He has his shortcomings, but in the right system, he will flourish, man. And watch out, because when he comes back to Capital One, he's going to give us the business, man. Guaranteed. He's going to give us the business.
Mm. Yeah, we don't play the Lakers again this year, but I know if he is still on the Lakers next year, I know he's definitely going to circle this game on his calendar. And he did dunk on Anthony Davis. I remember that. So that's funny that they are teammates now. But yeah, there's teams that have rebuilt and have, I guess, quote unquote, tanked or got better draft positions like Cleveland. They rebuilt. They're ahead of us now. You look at the Hawks. They had to rebuild. They're way ahead of us now. The Pacers, they traded away Sabonis. They didn't pay him big money. Look at them. They're better. They're a better team than us now. The Raptors, they kind of tanked. They got Scotty Barnes. They're a better team than us now. So there's other teams that have gotten better draft position. If the Wizards, if their goal is to do quote unquote a soft tank and get better draft position and maybe shut down KP or trading away Rui and trade away some other guys, then I can see the vision there for this year because it's a really good draft, but that's not what they're going to do. They're going to compete for the play-in. But yeah, we'll talk about Kuz real quick about that report that he's not even available for trade talks. But before we do get to that, this episode is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel, I use it all the time. Super, super easy. The NFL playoffs are here. We're really excited about our new sports betting partner for Locked On because they're the #1 sports book in America, FanDuel. And if you're new to FanDuel, that's even better. They have so many great features that make betting on sports fun and easy. New customers join today to get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up at FanDuel.com/LockedOn. FanDuel has all your favorite bets from the money line to point spreads to player props. Plus, you can even combine your bets for a chance to add a bigger payout with a same-game parlay. All in an app that's safe, secure, and easy to use so football fans don't miss out. Place your first $5 bet to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, on FanDuel.com/LockedOn. Make every moment with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Any bet this weekend that I might put in, Eagles versus Niners, I'll probably go the under on that because the Niners have a good defense. I think Philly's going to try to run the ball a lot. I think I would take the under on points for that. You look at the Niners versus Dallas game, that definitely went under on that. It was a very low scoring game, like 19-12. So I would definitely go on that. But all right, so Jake Fisher, he came up with a report saying that Kyle Kuzma is not available in trade talks. Trying to find the teams that he said that reached out for Kyle Kuzma. There's a couple teams, the Suns, I know they reached out. But what were your thoughts on that? That he's not even being made available in trade talks.
Predictable. I already know they're trying to bring him back, and again, it's very frustrating. It's frustrating because you're not going to try to get value for this guy. I mean, even flipping for a guy who can help the team now. John Collins. I looked at the John Collins trade like it was very lateral, but then you have stability at that position. Stability. We don't have stability right now. We are hoping that he re-signs in the offseason. We're hoping that he does that. Same thing with KP. We're hoping that he wants to stay. So am I surprised? No. I don't understand. Yeah, I mean, I guess I do understand about Tommy because look at who his protege was. He's acting just like him. He's not even trying to gauge and see if you can get any value from him. It's abysmal, man. It's abysmal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's similar to when they traded Kelly Oubre for Trevor Ariza. Then Trevor Ariza didn't even stay. He left the Wizards in free agency. And it certainly could happen with Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma is going to have options. He's had a great season this season. He had a really good season last year. So there's going to be a lot of teams that ask for him. There's a lot of teams trying to trade. There's a couple of teams trying to trade for him right now. So it's very risky business for the Wizards. Can they do something like a sign and trade? They could try to do that. But then again, of course, you're losing a guy that you really, really wanted. There's another thing from Yossi Goslin saying the Wizards can slide Kendrick Nunn into their Montrezl Harrell trade player exception, allowing them to roll it over into a new one worth $6.3 million. They also gain much needed breathing room from the tax. I already talked about that. But yeah, I mean, they made their bed. They want to keep Kuzma. They really want to keep this solid 3. And I really hope they take the 3 second-round picks. And just looking at the second-round picks that the Wizards have had in the past, Cassius Winston, Isaiah Todd, Isu Sanan, Admiral Schofield when they could have drafted Bull. Now Yannick Zosa drafted stash. So if they do keep the second-round picks, I don't have any confidence in them. And then they may even trade the second-round picks for cash considerations. I've seen them do that before, which would make it even worse, getting second-round picks for Rui. So, and I know Rui's value was low, so I wasn't expecting them to get 2 first-round picks or anything crazy. But I do feel like they definitely could have got a better player than Kendrick Nunn. I feel like they definitely could have got something a lot better than that. And I feel like they definitely should have waited. I feel like they rushed to make this move. The trade deadline was February 9th, so you got 2 weeks. I feel like they definitely could have waited for something better. Teams get more desperate towards the trade deadline, and I think the Wizards should look desperate when they didn't have to be desperate to make a move. I think they could have rolled this out a little bit more. But yeah, it's just bad GM, a bad decision by the GM here to move him so quickly and not wait a little bit for something better. And Sam Amico said the same thing.
So, I mean, really, who's the GM of this team? Is it Tommy Shepard or Bradley Beal? Because you best believe Bradley Beal had to sign off on this.
There you go. Yeah. And we saw what John Wall said. We saw what John Wall said in his interview. So Bradley Beal had, he has to sign off, of course.
Can we let him be a player? Like, stop. Let the GM be the GM. You know what I'm saying? Like, let the GM be the GM, man. It's just this whole situation, man. It's been building up for a lot of Wizards fans. It's building up because we knew that when Bradley Beal signed that crazy contract, and then the fact we gave him so much power in the front office for a guy that has more power in his contract than Stephen Curry does. Stephen Curry doesn't have a no trade clause. So we're treating this guy like he's top tier, about to go to the Hall of Fame type player, man. And it's just not. He's a good player. It's just this whole situation just leaves a bad taste in my mouth because you best believe that Bradley Beal knew he okayed it. So you're good with your bench being decimated. That's because you took a key part of the bench away. Look, Rui Hachimura is a key scorer off the bench. Man, has the best score off the bench. He's a key scorer. I mean, it's just you made your team worse unless they start making moves. But we're running out of moves, man. I mean, first round pick wise, we don't have first round picks to give. Who really is going to value these second round picks? Who's going to come calling for these picks? I don't understand it, man. The vision of this team is just it's head scratching. Because the fact of the matter is this, and my biggest takeaway from all this is this. That is, the front office has no idea what they're doing. You're banking on the possibility that Kyle Kuzma wants to stay. Look, Kyle Kuzma has his hands in all these different other ventures. Why would he settle for DC? Why would he settle for a team that where are we going? Which one of these young guys? We're going to have to flip Denny next year, and we should. Denny is going to be the next young guy to go. If not Kispert, I mean, it's just, that's where I'm at, man. This was a bad day for Wizards basketball because we lost a player who can help push it. If we want to make a playoff push, Rui helps us. So we lost a player today who could help do that. And I see that we lost a lot more we won with this trading, man. And it's crazy because we were starting to get into that role of really being a good basketball team. And if you look at the schedule going up, we had a chance to really get out of this hole. I don't see it now, man. I don't, because I think that Rui was that important to the second unit. Rui's not we're not talking about a guy who's an all-star. But these certain guys like DeLon Wright and Rui Hachimura, they're very important to the makeup of this roster. They were very important on the bench. So you gave away a nice piece for very little. And it's sad, man.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating as a fan seeing that. Yeah, and like you said, they were starting to play better. I did think they had a chance to make a run, but now after that move, looking at that, they need to make a decision and go ahead and try to get better draft position. They need to take a long, hard look at Scoot Henderson. I don't think they'll get a number 1 pick, Victor, but I don't think they'll get the second pick of the draft either. But they need to get a top 5 pick because that's the only way they can draft. They can't keep getting pick 9, keep getting pick 10. They're just not good enough to evaluate talent. I love this draft is a good draft, so it's really hard to miss. But if you leave it up to this front office, they're going to find a way to miss. So there's 90 people in the chat. We thank you guys for watching. We're definitely going to get to you guys' comments. We see there's a lot of comments. A lot of people have been very emotional and very upset today, so we get it. If you guys are upset, you guys can definitely vent. I was upset when I saw it too. There's definitely been some people saying some crazy things to me on Twitter already, so it is what it is. But let's get into it. So Black Moonhawk says a bunch of silly Wizards fans. The most reliable player on this team is Kuzma. Have we forgot KP's injury history? Good rotation dictates how these players get off his opportunities. Relax. Yeah, I mean Kuzma has been healthy. He's been more consistent. I mean, Porzingis has been pretty healthy too. Unfortunately, he's got the ankle injury, so he's out week to week. So he's going to be out at least 3 games. Bradley Beal has just been out frequently this year, whether it's health and safety protocols, whether it's his hamstring. He's missed a good amount of games so far, especially for a guy that's making that amount of money. It's not as bad as John Wall's injuries, nowhere near that, and Gilbert Arenas' injuries, but those are 2 max deal players that we paid, and they missed a lot of games, and Bradley Beal is starting to get a little concerning with the injuries for sure. Good rotation dictates how these players get offensive opportunities. Yeah, you can say that. West took Rui out a lot of times when he got hot. I just think there was a disconnect between West and Rui. And Rui said he wanted to go to a team that wants him. He was definitely talking about some guys in the front office and on the coaching staff for sure. So Rui definitely wanted to get his parting shots off before he left. So, and I know Rui's not the best player, and I know, I'm not praising Rui so much, but he was an important piece. And it's disappointing the return that we got.
Yeah. Many words for it, but I'm gonna roll with abysmal trash.
Oh man. Let's see. Biggie Steve says, if I'm a Lakers fan, I'm doing backflips. Rui and Russ back together again. Rui had his best year with Russ on the court. Yeah, he had a great year with Russ. Russ was a good mentor to Rui. You see times where he was coaching Rui up defensively and offensively. There was a clip where they were playing the Jazz and Rui got the ball taken from one time, and Russ was just like, "Hey, you need to go up stronger." Rip through. Next play he went through, and I think it was against Georgia's Niang. He got to the foul line. He got 2 free throws. I think Russ is going to be perfect for Rui. Russ was perfect for Thomas Bryant. This team, Monte Morris is starting to play better, but he just he doesn't get past people a lot. Russ is a guy that, say what you want to say about Russell Westbrook, he's going to make guys better. He made Gafford better. He made a lot of guys better when he was here. So if you want to bash Russ, sure, go ahead. But you can't deny that Russ got guys open, and Rui's going to get some open looks, man. LeBron's going to get Rui open looks. One thing, Rui's going to be really good with the Lakers. I'm excited for him. I'm happy for him. I think this is a good move for him, for sure. And he's going to be in his brand. I know the Wizards wanted to market Rui a lot with the Japan and going to the preseason game and all the cherry blossom jerseys. A big reason for that, of course, is DC. But, they try to put the Japan style with it, too, for the cherry blossom jerseys. So the marketing in LA is going to be pretty big for him, too. So I'm intrigued to see how his career goes in LA.
Yeah, me too. I think he's going to do well. I think they played well together that one year. You saw a lot of progression with Rui playing with a point guard like Russell Westbrook. Hey, say what you want about Russ, man. Look, he's going to go down as I don't know. It's going to be top 10. Definitely going to be. No, it's not going to be top 10, but you can argue say he's up there, maybe top 15, top 20 point guards. And I think that Russell Westbrook and Rui are both the perfect example of being in the wrong systems. If you look at the 1 year in DC, he played well. A lot of people got better with him being here. And if you look at Rui, I think that he just wasn't right for the system. Defense has always been his issue. And with this, supposed to be a defensive system, it's a system that values guys who can play defense. So being in that system there, yeah, he's going to thrive, man. I like he's going to do well in LA. So I'm very intrigued.
Right. Yeah, iHero says, matter of fact, I did hear reports that Rui wouldn't resign, so that's true. I guess we did what we had to do, but I did want him to stay. Yeah, that's true. They were not going to be able to come to a contract extension with Rui. So they made a business decision. If you want to pay Kuz, you want to pay KP, you want to pay Brad, you're paying Brad a good amount of money. There's just some tough decisions you had to make. And if you want to stay under the luxury tax, there's some guys that you just got to chop and put on the chopping block, and Rui is that guy. And it's going to be a never-ending cycle. Like you said, when Denny comes up for his contract, we'll see what happens with that. Are they going to give him an extension? before the season ends, or excuse me, in the summertime. We'll see if that happens or not. But it looks like a never-ending cycle of Wizards first-round picks being traded. Before, Kelly Oubre, add him to the list. Now it's Rui, Troy Brown for Daniel Gafford. I think that was probably the best trade. I think that was a good trade because Daniel Gafford has been solid for the Wizards, and Troy Brown, it just didn't work out at all. But yeah, it just continues the cycle and treadmill of trading first-round picks for mid-tier value.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's craziness, man. I don't have much to say, man.
Yeah, Chimp says this is a dumb trade. Kendrick Nunn, who non-existence would have got him cut at the end of the season, and 3 second rounds that might as well be cheeseburgers, vouchers, redeemable in the distant future.
Might as well.
Yeah, I mean, you traded him for 3 pink sweaters, 3 Kuzma pink sweaters, basically. I mean, you didn't get a lot of value there. For Chimp also says they wanted him to re-sign for peanuts. I bet.
I mean, look, man. I understand the business side of it, but in the flip side, if right now where we sit, we're only 1.4 million underneath the cap. Look, Daniel Gafford's extension ain't hit yet, so you got to take that into account. You got to take into account that you already got Bill and Supermax. So even if KP decides to enact his player option to help out, how are you going to be able to retain all 3 and still have Gaff and still be able to build a bench and still hit the knees like a 3D wing and not be in the luxury? But then you're already $1.4 million from, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up to me. I think that maybe, like you said, do I think it's a coincidence that all of a sudden KP is going down and they made a trade? You know what I'm saying? Like, you just never know with this franchise, man. It's just they're not very transparent with the fans or even the players, because Rui on the way out felt a certain way. So it's just it's hard to tell what the vision is, man.
Yeah, I mean, if they do trade KP, then they really would be rebuilding, and that would be very different from this franchise. But they would still be hanging on to Bradley Beal. But we'll see what if they really try to trade Porzingis, what could they really get? I know his value is down too because he just got traded for Dinwiddie and Bertans on a second-round pick, so that wasn't we didn't have to give up much to get Porzingis. And what does the league really think about Porzingis too? They still label him as injury prone, so I don't see you getting much for Porzingis. Maybe a first-round pick because he's had a really good year this year. I think he's played at an all-star level, but even trading him, you really won't get much back. But if you can get a first-round pick and a good player, then you definitely want to think about it. If they're doing a real rebuild, real rebuild, then sure, I don't have a problem with them trying to get something for Porzingis. But if they're trying to compete, then of course you want to keep Porzingis. Big O says this organization, man, trash, hot garbage. Dad Bezel says everyone on Instagram saying we just got a bag of chips for Rui. Lakers from ESPN are saying it was a B+ A- trade for them. Yeah, I thought it was a good trade. I think it's gonna be good off the bench for them. I think he's gonna be a good scorer for them. I think he's gonna fit well with Russ and LeBron and even Schroeder. Schroeder's gonna find him too. I think he's gonna find a good place on that team. And they're gonna LeBron's gonna push him. That's one thing. LeBron's gonna push him to be better. No knock to the leaders on the Wizards. Kuzma's trying to step up as a leader, but I think they have more vocal leaders. I mean, it's not even a question. They have more vocal leaders on the Lakers, and Patrick Beverly too. They just have more guys who are definitely going to push Rui, and that's what Rui needs to. He needs guys that are going to push him as well. I think they got guys on the Lakers that are going to do that too. Are there any comments that stand out to you too, Brandon?
Yeah, I've seen a few, man. Shout out to Stuart O'Flaherty, man. Wizards gave up the highest scoring bench player for a guy who scored 6 points a game. Then he better get Rui's minutes. The day Kuzma signs with another team, Shepard should be fired. Yep. I think, look, if you go into the offseason and you lose Kuz and KP, fire him, man. Now, would he fire him? Now, he's going to hold on to him for the next 15, 20 years. But he should be fired because you banked on the possibility that you might be able to retain 2 guys, man. And it makes sense to me. Rui, 1, gives you quality points off the bench. 2, if Kuz doesn't re-sign, you've got a plan B. You've got a guy who proven he can start. Then you can kind of see if you can negotiate with him, see him to stay. But yeah, I think they were way too fast to move on from Rui. Way too fast.
Definitely. There's another comment out here. So Shugs Beezy says no moves with that Denver bum. I wouldn't call him a bum. I'm talking about Will Barton. I think he's talking about Will Barton, not Monte Morris. But yeah, I think he's got to be on his way out. Can you attach Will with the second round picks and Kendrick Nunn and move them for somebody else that can be a productive player for the Wizards? That we'll see. If you can get any value for Will Barton, I think that's a win for the Wizards. I think Will Barton at best, he'll probably get you a second round pick at best, and another mid tier player or somebody else who's on the bench or riding the bench. So I don't see much, but yeah, if you can move Will Barton, then that would definitely be a good move for the Wizards. John Short says this is a stupid trade for Rui for no one. He's a bona fide starter and a great player. Yeah, I think he definitely a starter in this league. If not a starter, then at least 25 to 30 minutes a game for sure. Whether it's coming off the bench, he's definitely a great contributor to the team. So this is a comment from Point Denny. He says all Rui did was hold Denny back. He wouldn't pass the ball. Yeah, so that's the thing. Denny fans, and we love you guys. We love people who are watching from Israel. Certainly, I don't know why majority of people who watch Denny or support Denny, they just had like a vendetta against Rui. They always had a Denny versus Rui war type of thing, and it was very interesting to me. I just don't know why. I don't know why you had to put down another player to bump up one player. That was always peculiar and strange to me. I thought they actually played pretty well together. I don't think either held one another back or whatever. Rui, does he pass the ball? No, he doesn't. I'll be honest with you. Is he aggressive? Can he score? Yes. And there's things that Denny does well that Rui doesn't well. There's things that Rui does well that Denny doesn't well. Denny is very challenged on the offensive side of the ball. He struggles to make layups. He struggles to shoot threes. Rui makes layups and he dunks the ball. That's something that Denny needs to improve on. Rui can knock down threes. He's not an elite three-point shooter, but he knocks down threes. He can shoot a mid-range game. That pump fake dribble pull-up, that's an automatic move. That Magic, against the Magic, he could not miss that. And that was his move. He actually had some go-to moves. Denny doesn't really have many go-to moves at all on the offensive side of the ball. Denny is a way better defender. Yes, he is. Is he a better passer? Yes, he is. So, I mean, I think out of the draft picks, I think Rui was the best one. He's the most consistent. You know what you're going to get from him. He's the strongest around the rim. He's the strongest finisher, the best scorer out of the three. Corey Kispert is wildly inconsistent. I think he's a good player, but he's wildly inconsistent. There's some games where he can't hit any threes, and if he's not hitting threes, then he can be a liability. There's games where Denny will go 0 for. You know, he had 0 points the other night, and the same thing, Rui had 0 points. So all the draft picks, to some of them, are inconsistent. And that's on Tommy Shepard. But to say Rui was holding Denny back, we'll see. We'll see if that's true. We'll see if Denny can go off and go nuclear since Rui is gone. I'm intrigued. We'll come back to this point, Denny. We'll see.
Hey, man, well said. I completely agree. You know, they are polar opposites of each other. You know, Rui is an offensive guy who lacks on defense, and Denny's a guy who he can defend at a high level, but he lacks an offensive end. So, yeah, I mean, I think the point, and I think it's well said that, you know, right now the ball is in Denny's court. He's got more responsibility now in that second unit. So really, it's up to him to, you know, now it's time for him to take that step forward and show people how he can play. So yeah, right now it's show and prove time.
Yeah, 50% Payne said that's it. Ron has to go. But I'm talking about the Commanders, man. I get it.
Know, right?
Ron has to go. Yes, he does. But we'll keep it Wizards here. And another thing I'll say too, I know Trey Halliburton said on the show that he thinks that when he was a guest on the show last week, he thinks that Tommy Shepard may get the axe, he may get finally let go. I'm not gonna say I don't believe Troy, but it's hard to believe that Ted would actually fire Tommy. But just looking at this move and Johnny Davis not working out, Johnny Davis right now, he's struggling in the G League, you know. And I hate to bag on Johnny, it is what it is. But when your first round picks are really not hitting, and now Johnny is looking worse than the 3 first-round picks that basically have no value in trades right now. I think, you know, when you keep swinging and missing like that, I think this Johnny pick, man, if he doesn't pan out and you have to trade him before next year because his value is so low, or he's just not getting any playing time, barely playing or not playing well in the G League, then, yeah, I think Ted may get to that point where he may have to just say, hey, man, it's just not working, and we're just going to have to let you go.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's ways to get GMs fired, man. The tennis is going to do it. because people are, look, we already have the lower half of the NBA when it comes to attendance, man. And like I said, on my last notes on this trade is you just took a great option off the bench. So I don't see where this team gets better from here unless we make a move at the deadline, a move or two, because we still need a 3-and-D guy at the wing, man. And I believe that Monte has been playing good. He's been playing a lot better, but I still think we need that point guard. But we'll see, because right now we came out of this trade a worse team than we came in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, someone on Twitter tweeted, I think his name was M. Grads or something like that. He said hashtag free Bradley Bill.
Oh my Lord, he needs to free us, man. Really?
Oh, man. Yeah, and what I'll say too, some people are talking about Kendrick Nunn. Big J 52, I forgot his comment. He said that Kendrick Nunn is a good player. Yeah, I mean, nobody's saying that he's a bad player. He said Dunn is a Wall/Wade scorer. I wouldn't go that far. Come on now, let's not compare to John Wall and Dwayne Wade. Let's relax there. He said he couldn't because of injuries and Braun playing point. He can easily bear a 6-man. Check YouTube. I don't think, if I had to bet money, I don't think he plays at all. I don't think he suits up. I really don't. I'd be surprised if he said. I think they're going to trade him. That's what I think. He might play a couple of games, but I think he's on the move. I don't think he's a guy. I don't think he really fits the Tommy Shepard Wizards kind of culture that they're looking for. I just don't see him fitting here. You already have Monte Morris. You already have DeLon. You have Jordan Goodwin. I'd rather just give the minutes to Jordan Goodwin than Kendrick Nunn, to be honest with you. He's a point guard / shooting guard. And he can play, man. I think he gets some buckets, but he's been wildly inconsistent. He's averaging 6 points a game. Rui averages 13 points a game, double the numbers of Chris Dunn. So I'm not saying he's a terrible player, but he's not gonna make any difference on this roster, to be honest.
No, he's not a scrub. I mean, I liked his game in Miami when he played for Miami. He can defend. He's got a little dog to him. I mean, if you watch him, but I still believe we came out of this trade worse team than we went in. So no, he's not a scrub by any means, but he's not an acquisition that's going to push us in the right direction, in my opinion. So yeah, I completely agree.
Right, yeah, and we'll probably read one or two more. Biggie says, "Why none when we have Jordan?" I just said the same thing. Like it's really, you already have Jordan Goodwin. You might as well let the young guys play. That's on a cheaper deal. Let him play. You actually this is one guy that you actually developed in Jordan Goodwin. So you actually developed somebody and made them. I'm not gonna say you made Jordan Goodwin. I'll give Jordan Goodwin the credit for him being better. But you always talk about this too. Baltimore Get Up says attendance is bad. You lost fans with this trade. Show at Capital One. Get a clown show at Capital One. Get your tickets. Oh man. But yeah, Dunn did make the All Rookie team. Rui made the All Rookie team with his rookie season. So he's not a scrub, like you said, Brand. He's not a scrub, but you certainly could have did better than that. But is there any more comments you want to read before we wrap it up?
Nah, man, I'm good. But definitely appreciate everybody showing out, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Definitely. They do play a game tomorrow. I almost forgot they played a game tomorrow because it was just kind of irrelevant, honestly. They play the Mavericks tomorrow night with Luka, so that's going to be a tough task. And they play Dinwiddie and Bertans. It's a back-to-back. They play the Rockets on Wednesday night, so I guess we can just do a quick prediction. Every time we predict them to win, they end up losing. So what's your thoughts? They play pretty late. They play 8:30 and 8 o'clock on Tuesday and Wednesday night.
Man, that's tough after this. I'm gonna say it's a loss, man. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a loss. We gotta get that chemistry back. When you lose somebody that pivotal to the bench unit, you gotta kind of get the chemistry back. So I'm gonna say 107-99 loss.
How about the Rockets game?
Rockets, man, they got a lot of young talent, man. Man, I'm gonna say a loss. I think they're hungry. I think they're gonna catch us up. I mean, I think this trade is gonna show how pivotal chemistry is, man. You lose this. Look, Rui was very important to the second unit when it comes to scoring, man. So, it'd be very intriguing to see who steps up in his absence. Whether it's Will Barton, whether it's Denny, but I think there'll be losses, man. I think, Houston is a hungry young team is going to challenge us, and I think the Mavs they're just a better team right now.
Yeah, I agree. Mavericks just beat the Heat by like 20. I got us losing to the Mavs And I got us beating the Rockets. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna say we beat the Rockets. I'm not confident about it, but I say we beat the Rockets. But all right, we just want to thank you guys for listening, making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. Now make sure you guys check out the Game to Game podcast. I listen to it every day after I listen to Locked On Wizards, of course. Every moment, every top performance, every result, Locked On Game to Game covers every game from across the NBA with local analysis that only Locked On can deliver. Follow Game to Game on Locked On NBA, available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you guys for listening. Hail to the Wizards. Peace.